I have been working on a roguelike game in Minecraft for a while now, and unfortunately, Mojang broke it. As you can see, all of the textures on these paintings are missing, and when I go to my inventory, none of the weapons or any other additions that I added for the game are here. This happened, presumably, because of when it happened, tied to an update that occurred automatically while I was streaming the game. We were doing a building stream, and my game crashed as the game decided to update while it was running. Let's see, everyone is the god. What just happened? Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Probably not right now. What is this? What is it doing? No, it wants to install some... Microsoft Store wants to install something on my computer. It fully just crashed my game. This messed up a bunch of my files, took a while to get the game running again, and afterward, we found out that I was missing a lot of my resource pack and behavior packs, which is what runs this game. Now, all of the command blocks in the world were intact, but needing to remake all of this demotivated me for a while, and I stopped work on the game for about 2 months. And then I decided, you know what, we need to get back to work on this. So I decided to boot up a stream, which I would be remaking a lot of the stuff from the game. And it was that day I found one little file that gave me a hint to that maybe some of these files were still saved somewhere. So I canceled stream, and I ran a search, searching everything on my computer, which is a lot of files, until I found one backup that was up to date. And now, all of the things that were deleted have returned. So now, with 2 months of ideas stored up, I'm back to working on this game. So let's get started. The first thing I want to add that has been requested for a while in comments and in stream chat is already right over here. Finally, a difficulty selector. These right here are the 4 settings: easy, medium, hard, and nightmare. Easy will give you an entire row of extra hearts and weaken your enemies. Medium, about 6 extra hearts, and that's it. Hard is the original intended experience. This is no modifiers. And finally, Nightmare, where every enemy is faster, stronger, and tougher. So, good luck on that one, I guess, if you want to try it. We currently have 2 zones for the game: the Oasis Ruins and the Infernal Workshop, and that is not nearly enough. I want at least 2 zones to fill in each spot. So 2 zone 1s, 2 zone 2s, 2 zone 3s, and then a bunch of finale zones depending on your class. Why don't we get to work on building a new zone I like to call the Crystal Quarry. So step 1 of this new zone is that I need to make sure the vibe is right. I want to feel like a mine, a claustrophobic place with crystals all over. Now, unfortunately, I'm working with a limited supply of crystal blocks. I have the amethyst, and amethyst is mostly what I want to use. But I would love something to blend it in with the stone a little bit better. So why don't I go right in here and just type in amethyst. Oh, and that's not a block that's normally in the game. This is amethyst ore. This is a completely decorative block that I've added. It is just pretty much purple emerald ore, and will just help me decorate a little bit better without feeling too modded. It is very faithful to the game. Now, I kind of want to keep that vibe with a lot of the features I'm adding, and honestly, I need more decoration blocks. I want to add minecart tracks and minecarts, but minecarts are entities, so they're very hard to copy, and they can do unpredictable things and allow people to glitch out of the map, so we can't use those. And I'd love to have minecarts full of different materials. So I've added my own. Let's do this. As you can see, actually, let's get rails as well so we can compare. If I put down some lovely rails right here, we can put down a minecart. This is a fake minecart block. You can actually stand on it. This is just going to be used for decoration, pretty much. And of course, I want to be able to put things in the minecarts as well. So I've also added the cobblestone minecart. It's just a minecart full of cobblestone. Very basic, a minor thing to introduce. And my personal favorite, the amethyst minecart. This one is full of crystals to the point where they're very visible, poking out the top of the minecart. And these three will just be dotted around to help tie together the whole aesthetic of the place. Now, the last thing I want to add is also just to tie together the aesthetic of the whole place before we get working. And that is a zombie miner. I've just textured this little guy. He's pretty much just a zombie. His stats are exactly the same, but I think he'll look a little bit better in this mine environment and kind of make it all look like maybe these people in here used to be miners before they got zombified. So with this zombie burning behind me, why don't we get to work on the actual rooms? And I'll just cut to when they're done, and we can take a look. Well, it has been weeks. This took so much longer than I was originally planning, but it is at least done now. This is going to be the first room that always spawns. This will always happen right after the game loads in. It will open up into this chamber. It is just a little wine cellar basement that looks like its wall is caved in, giving way to the mine shaft. You can see all of the new block that I've put all around and how it kind of plays with the amethyst on the walls. And this will lead into the next 12 rooms I've built, which are all based around mine shafts. We're going to run through them very quickly because there's a lot and it's kind of repetitive, but they are different enough to make it feel like this labyrinthian tunnel system. The first one we're going to look at is this. It's very basic, just kind of a collapsed mine shaft with some various vases and storage containers around. And over on this side, there is a zombie and a skeleton, and you need to go through here. Hopefully they'll ambush some people by hiding out right here, and then they can go through into the next room. Next mine shaft, pretty similar. There's two ways to cross into the other mine shaft, and there are various enemies. In here, same thing, but this one is the spider variant. This next one has no enemies. It is completely safe, and there's nothing dangerous in this room. Can you spot it? There's something off with this. For those of you who had said the floor, you'd be right. This is not cobblestone. This is crumbling stone. This is cobblestone. They're very similar looking, but if you look carefully, it'll give it away. Crumbling stone, of course, crumbles under the feet of anyone who steps on it, dropping them to their demise. And if you are observant and notice that there was no way to get up to the ladder, let's say I didn't fall right next to the ladder and this block's above it, don't worry, I've thought of that. It also gets rid of it directly above you so you can climb out in the worst case scenario. You can sometimes bounce across it safely, but you have to be very quick. In areas like this, that might not be feasible, but there are little jumping spots to try and navigate the room better. And of course, if you fall, straight into spikes. Though if you do fall, it may give you an indication of what parts of the room are still supported by these pillars. Hey, I'm sure whatever I was just talking about is incredibly interesting and all, but do you want to be in this game? Because now you can. There's a link in the description to a Discord server where we are looking to recruit voice actors for the game. There are a lot of voices that need to be done, and we've had some people apply already. But if you are interested in doing a voice for the game, whether one of the bosses or one of the classes or a deity such as the Starlight Goddess or the Blood Deity, let me know, because we have a form and a Discord channel to have applications. Unfortunately, it's not a paid role since, well, this game is literally made on a $0 budget. But if you want to help out and you want your voice in the game, Even if you're not a good voice actor, try out, you never know. Anyway, back to the video. Check out the link in the description. We also have some fairly generic jump rooms, just a good pit right there, and it loops around because why not? Why don't we have you jump the same pit again but higher up? In here we've got one of the most frustrating rooms in testing so far, which has been this room. It was only frustrating because we used to have some stuff right here, and it made this jump a head hitter and it was a nightmare. We have removed that since. In this one, we've just got a bunch of spiders, because honestly, you can't go wrong with just a bunch of spiders in the hallway. In here, we have kind of a looping network of mine shafts with a good few zombies in it to surprise some players who are not quite paying attention. We've also got this hallway, which I quite like, which is a big spike pit with this crumbling stone everywhere, so if you aren't careful, you will fall down. But it is possible to jump. Apparently not for me, but it is possible to jump across this, and across this, and over here to descend safely. In this room, we have a little viewport right here. Unfortunately, you can't quite fit through. I thought of that. And it allows you to climb over to do another crumbling parkour section. And then you can leave. This room, I just felt like it needed some chain parkour. So yeah, we've got chain parkour above lava. It's just one chain, but that's okay. There's more elsewhere, don't worry. And finally, we have the spider tube up here. It is a upper tunnel just full of spiders, because we really just need more spiders in here. I think that's what most of this is missing. Now, that is this section of danger rooms. 12 of them are these mine shafts, but I didn't really like just having mine shafts, so I've also introduced room and pillar mines. A room and pillar mine is pretty much where you carve out a big room and you leave pillars of stone to hold up the room. This is a real mining technique, of course, and I want to take inspiration from that, but it is still collapsing, so you can kind of see these more like cut blocks, and also where it has been just collapsing. This one we've got some skeletons and miners in. It's probably the most basic of the room and pillar rooms. Over here we have a beautiful amethyst one. I mean, you would think that they would have removed all this amethyst from the walls and... must be growing everywhere. In this room is a similar story. We've got amethyst all over. And also in a few of these rooms, I have made sure the levers actually switch the minecart track. So you can do that for fun. It's just a minor detail, but I want to make sure it works. And once you make it through that, there's just a few zombies to deal with. Now for the fun ones. First of all, we've got this one. It is a crumbling stone parkour over lava. So I think that'll get some people who are unfortunate enough to fall in or fall for jumping to that platform, which is not safe. And yeah, hopefully that one's enjoyable. Though, if you want even harder, we've got this room, and you may have heard the sound effect, there's blazes in here. So this is an extremely magma-covered room, with blazes sitting in the lava, ready to attack any unwary player who tries to traverse this room. There are a couple ways through this room depending on your speed, jump boost, or slowness, or whatever other effects you have, but that one I just did is the main one. Now, of course, this is an amethyst mine, and it would honestly be foolish not to have a nice geode. So, just a little flooded geode, a couple guys spawn in here, and yeah, you can just walk right out. Very small room, simple, just fight two guys and leave. Next up, we have the large geode. This one is a little more dangerous. It's flooded with lava, and this jump is too far to make, unfortunately. So, players may need to get a little creative in how they traverse this room. Now, for 3 final rooms to finish off the roster of our danger rooms, we have a nice spike pit with a lot of chain jumps on the way. They're very easy. Honestly, I think the biggest issue with people doing chain jumps is overthinking. It's way simpler than it looks. We've also got a nice little bridge over water right here. 2 enemies to block your path that you have to fight through. And finally, a elevator shaft. The elevator has now fallen all the way to the bottom down there, leaving the player to jump across. After all that danger, though, they'll need a little bit of healing, which is what the next 2 rooms are for. We have this lovely room, which is dripping water from some source above into these little pools, and life has sprung up all around here, and they can click this for a bit of healing. And a second variant of it, which is a bridge across water, which has a similar thing happening with healing in the middle and all the beautiful pink flowers all around, similar to the other 2 zones. For all of the players' trading needs, they will be able to find a wandering trader in this old storage room that he's turned into a shop. They can also find our wondrous trader. He just put a table down in the middle of a mine shaft and has turned it into a makeshift shop. So, good for him. We also have minecart storage areas. I imagine this is a place where the minecarts are being repaired and fixed up before going back on the tracks. And this is a place to enchant your weaponry. And of course, a second place to enchant is this little workshop just branching off of the normal mine pathways. Just a little room with some tools and furnace and minecart, fuel, maybe some metal and candles, whatever else is needed to fix things up. Of course, we also have our blood altar for those who want to get a little bit heretical. So we now have all of these pillars put up. It is pretty much the same design as the other 2 rooms, just a little bit changed for this zone. And there's a few minecarts over here, just for flavor. I've done the same for the star altar. It is still made of stone, except all the supports in here are wooden now, and we have all of the amethyst in the little pits. We've had water, we've had obsidian from like cooled lava. You know, why not amethyst now? This is the same type of room every single time, it's just changed color palette and details pretty much each time. Next up, we have 2 more abandoned storage rooms similar to the villager one. This one has this in the middle. And you may notice, this is a different loot system. I have overhauled the loot system, and we will talk about that very soon. But for now, there's 1 loot item there. And over in its sister room, we have 2 loot items, 1 on each side. The next room over here is also a double. There's a big pit of amethyst in the center that they've been storing up in the mines. And, of course, 2 items. Over here is just a small bit of storage that's just been put off to the side of a mine. This one you can just find in the tunnels. And finally, a half storage room with another chest in it. The final feature I want to add to this zone is ambience, which is what all this is for. This is a command block that randomly decides to put a redstone block underneath one of these armor stands. If it picks any of the gold ones, it will play a sound effect that sounds like a mine shaft collapsing in the distance. I am not good at making sound effects, really, so I've enlisted the help of Disco, a good friend of mine who has been watching a lot of the streams recently, and is one of the mods on the Discord. Has helped me create these 6 wonderful sounds that I will now play. So thank you again to Disco for making those sound effects. those will now be playing as ambients every minute or so throughout the mines, just based on the odds here. Now, if you notice this in the background, you're probably wondering, what in the world is this? Because I probably would be too. This isn't witchcraft. This is actually just redstone. I know, crazy. Pretty much what this is doing is it is putting a random item right here, and repeating process for all these. The new system that I've devised to distribute loot is based on this. So if I go over here, you can see I have this chest. Ignore the bounding boxes just so I can copy and paste it. When I press this button, you will hear some sound effects, and you will watch as the items get randomized. This is offering me either a set of arrows or a random leggings. I will take the leggings. I got gold, so not great. And it is now off. This gives a random pair of options every time. It is possible that they are the same one, so sometimes you're just guaranteed into one thing. But I think this is a little bit more fun than having predetermined results every time. This was insanely hard to make because, as you can see, there's a lot of command blocks here. Pretty much what this does is when you press this, it creates a redstone block here. This gets rid of the chest icon, starts triggering the sound effect, it goes ding 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 ding. It also makes these flash and change randomly. And then once that has run out, it will remove the redstone blocks, the sound stops, it will choose an item and choose an item on either side. And when I choose an item, well, I can actually show it running. Once these trigger, it will put these command blocks in place, overwriting the old ones. Yes, I had to do this to make it very compact. It was going to be so much bigger if I didn't. And also I need to take an input from like pretty much the same location. So all this is pretty much a command block that says, hey, give them the leggings, and then delete everything up here. So I do that, and then it clears it, and then this whole thing's inactive because there's no way to trigger it again. This took an entire stream to devise, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. Speaking of overhauling systems, though, there are two big things I want to change. Currently, the Brigand class has an ability where if they kill wandering traders, they receive emeralds. And that's kind of boring, to be honest, so I'm adding a brand new mechanic using the Rusty Hammer. The Brigand will now start with this new tool. Sometimes while traversing the dungeon as Brigand, you will run into all of these pots. And specifically, these pots, the ones with the gem icon. These ones you can use your Rusty Hammer to smash, and they will release emeralds. No other class has this ability. This is unique to Brigand. Only the ones with the gem icon give you gems, of course. And I'm hoping this will add just a fun new mechanic for Brigand players to enjoy as they run around the dungeon, looting things like it's Legend of Zelda. Brigand isn't the only thing I've overhauled. The other thing is these altars. Now, the offerings are worth a lot more. When you put an Echo Shard in here, it'll give you a much better reward, instead of just some potion effect that's honestly worse than just drinking a potion. Now they should be a lot more worth it. Such as, I've just gotten this. The Starlight Chestplate. One of the new things you can get is this, the Starlight Chestplate. There's also leggings, boots, helmet, and a sword. This is really good. It is as good as Diamond, maybe a little bit better. Well, there's one of our collapse sounds just in the wild. I'm actually just going to leave that in. The Starlight set is a very, very rare set that you can only get from the altars, and as you can see, it actually glows in the dark with all of the little patterns, which was very difficult to make that work, but now I know how, I can do it a lot easier. If you're curious, this is what the full set looks like. And of course the sword. The sword I couldn't make glow. Unfortunately, there's limits to what you can make glow in this game. But this is extremely good gear, though you can only get one per time you use the altar. Now, of course, that's not all you can get from the altar. There are a lot of other options, so why don't we go take a look at the randomizer behind this and what we can get. Right over here are the new options for the altar. We got this one right here. This is a piece of divine equipment. It pretty much calls out to these and gives you one of them. Pretty much helmet, chestplate, leggings, boots, sword, and just picks one of them. This is twice as likely as the others. There's actually 2 armor stands in the same place right here. You just can't see it. And that makes it more likely than all the others. The other things you can get over here, a full set of brand new equipment. It is randomly selected still, so you will get boots, leggings, chestplate, and helmet, just a random type of each. And of course, if you are a zealot who gets increased rewards from altars, it gives you an iron sword and a bow to go with it. If you get the divine equipment one while you are zealot, you just get a golden apple thrown in there. Some of the other things you can get are a bunch of emeralds. Of course, zealot gets more. You can also get renewed vitality, which is pretty much a major heal, or if you're zealot, a full heal, regardless of what your health is. We also have an assortment of potions. This gives you 3 random potions, but if you're zealot, it gives you a healing 2 and a strength guaranteed on top of that. And one of my personal favorites is this. Pretty much, well, the actual tooltip says, your foes shall feel the weight of their sins. This means for the next 3 minutes of in-game time, all of your enemies are slowed, so they have a harder time getting to you. And if you are zealot, you gain an aura of decay that causes wither effect for all enemies within 5 blocks of you for the duration of the effect. It is quite good. The final reward you can get is the Fallen Star. If you're zealot, you can get 2. This is actually a summon, similar to some of the stuff we added last episode. And over here, I'll show off exactly what it is. It is this little guy, a Starlight Wisp. Kind of vaguely inspired by like biblically accurate angels, as well as just a very like star-oriented creature, with its little rings that rotate around as it floats around. This is probably the best summon in the game. It is extremely strong. In fact, I will put it up against a parched real quick. They should fight each other. The one downside of these creatures is they don't attack very often, but when they hit hard. This thing can be a significant bonus in a boss fight. They have 30 hit points, which is actually quite a lot. That is with pretty much the best sword in the game, without being enchanted. So these will be a significant boon to get. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for all of the support between videos. The issue with Mojang pretty much just deleting all my files in this update was extremely demotivating and frustrating, and probably the biggest reason I came back to this project and was willing to continue working on this is how many times I got comments so excited for it, or people coming into streams asking about it, wanting to know what the status was, or all of that. And all that support genuinely means so much. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you everyone for watching. And in a future video, we will be working on adding the new bosses to this zone, and hopefully a little bit of the audio, but we'll see.